On this week's episode of Circles Off, we recap Johnny's big bomb banger losing bet on Jake Paul against Tommy Fury. We'll also talk a little bit about niche sports and whether we can see one grow and become big in the gambling space. All that and more on this week's episode of Circles Off.
Come on, let's go!
Welcome to Circles Off, episode number 91 here on the Hammer Betting Network, the Circles Off YouTube channel. You can also check us out in audio format on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Rob Pizzola, joined by Johnny from betstamp. How are things?
91.
And there's lots of 91s.
My own personal hockey number.
Really? You wore 91?
I wore 91.
Were you a big Sergei Fedorov fan growing up?
No, I started off with 71, then I moved to 81, and then I moved to 91.
You're not born in 91 either, so...
No, just like the number.
Yes.
It was before like Stamkos, Tavares, Tyler Seguin were in the league, so it wasn't that.
Tarasenko 91 too.
Yeah, he was way later.
Senko. NFL, there's like 91s, but they're all one of my personal favorites for no reason other than he played in the CFL and then went to the NFL and he was dominant. Was Cameron Wake?
Cammy Wake,
91.
The Finns.
But it's like a very defensive line. Trey Hendrickson wears 91 now. A guy I used to hate back in the day was Justin Tuck because I'm a Cowboys fan, so I remember him wearing 91. And one of the most famous ones would be Dennis Rodman with the Bulls.
Wore 91?
Yeah, for a few years with the Bulls there.
That's pretty cool.
But it's getting sad now because we're like, I don't know what we're gonna do when we get to 100. We don't
Maybe
just
we
restart.
just start again, and we start at like a 1, 2, 3, and so
Again, though, but there's
we
no
never,
new
we
players.
only started at like episode like 60.
Yeah.
I feel like we have to keep it going because Kanish hates it so much that we have to.
We
Did
should
anyone
get into
wear
some
100? Has
motocross.
anyone wear a triple digit? In
No,
the
it would just be
NBA?
00. There's been double zeros in
But
sports.
there's guys who wore like triple digits on stupid stuff.
I would love to see somebody wear triple digit numbers. It's not allowed.
There's got to be a ref that was triple
It's not
digits
allowed.
in the NFL.
Yeah.
The NFL definitely does not allow this. Like, they fine people for wearing the wrong color cleats. Like, there's no way they're letting you roll out there with a 107. Like, but it would be better.
The worst is the NFL. You get a penalty if you have two guys on the field with the same jersey number, and you're allowed to have two guys on the team same number as long as they don't play on the field at the same time. What coach is allowing that? There's been like, if your team gets a penalty for having two number 14s on the field because one guy who's undoubtedly a special teamer didn't want to just wear a random number, buddy, pick a number. You're not risking a penalty for this.
Here's my move if I'm a special teamer, okay? I'm going to look around the league at the most widely worn quarterback number, and I'm going to try to take that for my team. That way, if that QB ever gets traded to my team, you're like, I love this number. Give me X amount of dollars, like,
Nice
and
dinner,
I'll let it go.
a watch.
Or else the team has to like literally cut you and pay. Well, it's not guaranteed.
No, they could just tell you whatever. But yeah. You.
But
could
it's
just
one of
tell them
those, right?
Like 20 grand even.
It would also be like very bad like PR for the team if they cut you because you wouldn't give up your number. Like then you would go to you would just go on like this PR nightmare campain for the team.
Is there ever, what were the, like back in the day, I think we used to hear like people who were like, no, I wasn't giving up my number.
Yeah, like I've never, like, I'm born December 12th. 12-12. I've worn 12 my whole life. But
you wouldn't give up that number for Tom Brady.
But I would. I honestly don't care. Like when I played rep hockey, I'd go to a team one year where somebody else wanted 12. I never put up. I don't really ever care about my number. But when you're in the pros and there's like actual dollars and cents on the line, like you hear the stories of like, oh, the quarterback took the guy out for like a really nice dinner. It's like, who cares? Like, a nice dinner, I'm not giving up my number for a nice dinner when this quarterback's making $40 million guaranteed.
Who's number 23?
23?
NBA.
NBA is very hard for me to tell.
Who's number 23?
I don't know. I don't watch
Fred
NBA.
Van Vliet, LeBron James.
Oh, okay.
LeBron James.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Not Jordan. First guy you said.
Oh,
You're talking about right now. guys
No,
wearing
no, I
23.
wasn't. Well, technically you did say Fred Van Vliet, so he's the GOAT.
Fred Van
Van
Vliet.
Vliet
Well,
is the
local
guy.
market. Local market.
Local
yeah.
market. Yeah, interesting. Rob, you've been doing some putt commentary lately. What's going on?
I'm enjoying this quite a bit. I like how you started with this instead of Paul Fury. By the way, you're trying to let people like we cannot start
Jake
with that.
Paul got job. The fix was in. I don't know what else to say.
I
You wrote
dropped
the
a
wrong script.
I dropped a big bomb banger on Jake Paul at Pinnacle
By
Sportsbook. No, just Pinnacle minus. I didn't even get a good. Honestly, you messaged me. You're like, hey, just want to remind you, like, this fight's not tonight. It's actually coming up in half an hour, and I was mad scrambling, and I have my Pinnacle account funded for like. So we'll post the bet slip afterwards. I'll hide the amounts and whatever. But I literally bet ball, and I bet him at Pinnacle, the world's sharpest sportsbook. Now available to residents in Ontario. Find out where professional bettors have known for decades. Pinnacle's where the best bettors play. You must be 19 plus. Please play responsibly, like I did as well on the weekend. But I bet it, and
no good. Could have gone either way. Split decision, loser. No good. I don't know what else to say.
Well,
no good.
I know what to say. You have to redeem yourself at some point.
I got to give another pick.
If this was like a 5-unit banger, you're gonna have to give a 10-unit at some point.
I will have to give a 10-unit banger.
It doesn't have to be today, but and if that doesn't win, then we'll have a 20-unit banger whale play. 20-unit great beluga whale play. Great white shark.
Big bomb bang.
I love the creativity of the names, though, in the sense that nobody's creative with the names. They just continuously use the same things over and over.
Double down this weekend. John Jones, Cyril Gane, fight goes to decision. Yes, good to any number. Don't even ask me for a price. Good to any number.
Fight goes to decision?
Fight goes to decision, yes. Heavyweight fight.
So is it a 5-rounder? Is it a main event 5-rounder?
Main event 5-rounder.
Wow. That's ballsy, man.
Decision.
I don't watch a lot of UFC anymore, but back in the day, John Jones just was fucking stomping people, man.
It's a decision machine right
those
now.
elbows, man.
Yeah, he was.
He was ripping elbows nonstop. He got DQ'd once against Matt Hamill for ripping 12-6 downwards. Yeah, 12-6 elbows.
Greatest of all time by a mile. Okay, now that we've got that out of the way.
Well, okay.
Go, ask me any other questions.
No, I don't want to ask you questions, but I actually really listen, I lost money, legitimate money on the fight. Am I sour with Johnny? Of course I am. 100% I am. But I'm not going to let him know it because, it's he'll redeem himself at some point or another. But I like these events. And I don't know.
This one wasn't that entertaining.
It sucked. Honestly. The event itself sucked.
Boxing sucks. That's what it is. Boxing legitimately sucks. And I will say it in
sorry to the hardcore boxing fans. We're going to get roasted.
It sucks. Everything, and I'm a fan. I'm saying this as a boxing fan who watches events, by the way. It's so slow in production, and it's just hard. It's very, very, forget about the actual fight itself. It's very hard to, sustain a full thing. Even when they're just doing the walkouts, it's slow. It's not entertaining. They got to do all these reads. It's not a thing that you could just get together with your buddies and be like, yeah, let's watch this for the whole night. It's not that. UFC does a much better job of that. MMA in general, much better job of that. And then during the actual fight, these typical events, they don't make them as much of a gimmick. They should, for Jake Paul, Tommy Fury, they should make it more you're getting guys who don't watch boxing. So just give the commentary to more of a guy who can, let Dave Portnoy commentate the fights like he was for some of those other ones. Just make it a bit Portnoy and Big Cat commentated one of the events, the Jake Paul events.
Yeah.
With Tommy Fury on the under.
I'm pretty sure Portnoy had Jake Paul pretty big this weekend too. I think
he did.
He looked like he was sweating.
Well, that makes sense.
It all makes.
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah,
I know he did. But look, it's just too traditional. You coming in and by the way, for anyone who's how did they what was the scoring in the fight? Whatever, dude. That's how it is. That's how boxing is. Complete randomness on the scorecard. Good luck trying to guess any scorecard. So many split decisions.
Oh yeah,
ridiculous.
Well, and then also you complicate it even further with docking points from each fight. By the way, that ref. Again, I don't watch a lot of boxing, so this is not my element or whatever. But this was NFL replacement refs type of official. He evened it up. It's what the hell is going on here? But. I remember when it was going to scorecards, I had a few friends message me, friends bet different things on the fight or whatever. And I'm I told them I have Jake Paul and they're what do you think? I'm I think he lost, but there's a there's a chance he's going to win.
50-50.
Yeah. I have no idea how this will be ruled.
If you went into the decision thinking that the draw wasn't favored, the draw honestly was It wasn't, I don't know if it was favored, but I think honestly that the draw going into the decision was probably the most likely outcome. These guys are, it's ridiculous how much people just put a draw on the scorecard. And these, especially in these main event ones, it's crazy.
So I didn't find like the fight enjoyable itself. These guys were hugging each other a lot. They're clearly gassed very early. It's tough, right? And by the way, like I'm not talking about their athleticism. Like it's friggin' tough to go through 24 minutes.
Barely do 50 push-ups.
I mean, like, come on. That's tough. But the event itself, and I guess this is the benefit of social media nowadays, right? Just seeing so many different opinions on what's happening, some people scoring it differently from others, but people just being together on Twitter and like coming together to talk about what's going on in real time. It's really changed. Like, I struggle to think about even 10 years ago, 15 years ago, how I watched sports, because it's so different now, right? Like you just watched it on your own. If this was a fight back in the day, 15 years ago, I probably had friends over my house. We'd watch it, but like you don't have anything outside of that until you go into work on Monday. You all stand around having a coffee,
group chats and stuff.
but not even like in 20.
Well, back then you're saying, nothing.
There's nothing. And I wouldn't, how did I live like that? Like we obviously didn't know.
How did you even know what to bet on back then? Covers forum. That was it.
I vividly remember watching like the Sopranos finale, and I have all my friends over at my place. We're watching. I felt like the power went out at the end of the finale. It just fades to black, and we're just talking about it. And like, I'm like, that was really shit. Like we all think it was really shit, but like you have no outside perspective. And then you go into work on Monday, and I was like, oh, that was great. It was a sick ending or whatever. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Did we watch the same thing? Like, there's no real time other perspective that you have. And it's really weird. Nowadays, you kind of get both sides of things and they're really extreme. But I don't know. I found it fun. Maybe the timing of it was what was great.
Sunday?
Yeah, just like late afternoon. It's way better than like
Saturday night, you think?
Bro, the Saturday night ones. I can't remember if the Tyson fight was like Saturday night.
Most of the main, like the main,
it was brutal. I stayed up to like
staying out. They stay a bit too late. It is a little annoying.
It was good. I would like again. We had.
Would you watch a rematch of that?
I would, and I would bet it again probably.
And what would you bet?
It depends on the line.
I'm gonna pull it up right now.
I think it's. I actually think a few offshores posted it right away at -115 both sides, like a true pick'em.
Really,
a true pick'em.
Guys, just FYI, we have breaking news. It's showtime. Patrick Kane is now officially a New York Ranger.
Oh,
wow, eh?
Yeah.
Trade deadline's coming up this week as well. Trade deadlines are coming up this week as well, which is always like, obviously with us being in Canada, it's a little bit, and the affinity for the NHL, there's a lot of talk this week. Really frustrates me, actually. Lots of the stuff that goes around.
Tommy Fury -150. Jake Paul +120.
So Fury took money.
Slightly.
Yeah.
Hey, that's like a little bit of basically a reversal of the first fight.
So
but that's relatively close.
I personally like these types of events, which is quite literally why on the Hammer HQ on YouTube this week, we live streamed some World Putting League events. Now, I'm not comparing the World Putting League to boxing fight.
It's a little more entertaining.
It's way better. It was.
We're recording this on Tuesday, the day Patrick Kane just got traded to the moment Patrick Kane just got traded to the Rangers.
I'll be streaming the knockout bracket of the World Putting League tonight, which I'm very much looking forward to.
Live at 5 Eastern.
6:20.
Live at 6:20 Eastern. Tune in tonight. No, just kidding. Obviously, this is it's going to come out on, it would be 2 days ago.
So I knew nothing about the World Putting League. And they'd reached out and said, hey, we're doing this event in Myrtle Beach. Is there any interest? And I'm like, you know what? What time is this event happening? They told me. I'm like, I got nothing going on. Sounds interesting. Can we get some odds up? They're like, yeah, we're working with sportsbooks now to get odds up. I'm like, you get me odds at a North American sportsbook, I'll do it. They did. I did this event. Honestly, not exaggerating. I could not pull myself. I had to go to a massage appointment It went longer. The prelim round went longer than expected. I could not pull myself away from this. And when I first started streaming, I had like 15 concurrent viewers. And I'm trying to break this down. I'm like looking at the course on YouTube, people who've hit hole-in-ones there before. I'm looking through the odds. I'm trying to go through it. Eventually, it was picking up steam. Like we're getting 50 viewers, 60 viewers, 70 viewers all at once. And a lot of the people in the chat are people that have participated in these events before. They know these golfers. And they're telling me, oh, no, this guy has no hope. Odds are wrong on this. It turned into a very fun event, but nothing was better than seeing the foot putter. Once this guy,
a shoe putter or a foot putter?
I don't know what we can call it.
For the audio listeners, this guy had a metal plate, not even a putter, a metal plate like attached to the front of his shoe, the toe of his shoe, at which he was using to kick the ball instead of putting. It was legal.
You can see this on YouTube right now, by the way. Have this pulled up.
Yeah, so you'll see this in the video version of the episode, but he apparently has very bad arthritis. Okay? Extremely bad arthritis. So they allow this to happen. It's got approved by the Mini Golf Association. Can't remember what the abbreviation is.
The WPL.
I think
No.
it has to get approved by like I'm gonna
USADA.
Yeah, I'm gonna exactly be a complete idiot here. But
how do you get past the U.S. Anti-Doping Agency?
So, that was an experience in and of itself, but it obviously only got approved because it's way harder. Way, way harder. There's no way they were going to let a person with an advantage. Like, if you go up against a wall, there's someone that comes... Six inches.
Club length, really?
It's a half a foot, 6 inches. And they come in with like a ruler and they measure it and they place the ball there for you. So there's officials. I was like, how's this guy going to putt if he gets stuck up against the wall? And they only give him... His foot is obviously longer than 6 inches. And he had to angle his foot downwards or use the side of his foot, which also had a
different plate on it.
This was too much. Then I looked more and more into
What
this.
did that guy end up shooting?
Let me find his name if I can.
Did he make the cut?
He did not make the cut.
Oh,
his name is Nico Manu. Nico Manu.
Nico the Foot Manu.
Odds were set at 38.5, juiced over. 38.5 over minus 150. So expecting him to come in over that number. He shot 38 in round 1 and 41 in round 2. So he shot two over par and 5 over par.
Lost the juice.
You juiced out essentially. But it was I've never seen anything like this. And I actually didn't know the sophistication that goes into this because people started sending me screenshots of the pocketbooks that they used to have when they were involved in mini golf leagues, which are shows basically every hole and the way that the carpet or the greens break and what bounce it's going to take off an obstacle if you hit it a certain amount. They make their own notes for themselves, exactly like a PGA Tour member would pull out the book when he's standing over a shot and take a look at it.
What does it say at the bottom? Hawaiian Rumble?
Yeah, this is the course. The course is the Hawaiian Rumble. This is the hole 10 and 11 in the screenshot here at the Hawaiian Rumble and how the green breaks.
This is nothing. These courses are so easy.
I'll
shoot below par guaranteed.
I think I would too. I don't know if I'm going to guarantee it because there's an element of pressure now that we're adding on ourselves.
I'll guarantee a below par.
I want to do this badly.
There was a comment in the chat yesterday on the live stream that said, I bet you Johnny thinks he can win this.
I don't know about win it, but I definitely would make the cut. So what was the cut line? -3?
I think it ended up being 5 under.
Yeah.
-5? Okay, I would have been right on the cut line.
Yeah.
Wait, through 2 rounds, right?
2 rounds.
Yeah, I think I can make the cut.
I think I would have been close to making
But I'm going to use a straight putter. So
I am too.
So I could putt
because
left
I can putt
and right.
Bingo.
But it's just
Rob's
wherever
strategy.
you're against the wall, you just use the other thing. It's mini putts. It's very
And some of these holes, the tee shot, their back is up against the little cave thing, and they have no room to putt. So I think that's a huge strategy. There was one guy,
that Varnador piss job.
Tony. So again, I know nothing about these golfers going in other than the media kit that they send me. So I have the
Going to
background.
listen to this podcast, and Tony, we're just joking around.
I was rooting for Tony. I was calling him Tony
Varnadore.
because of the Italian roots. So I was rooting for him. But
He hit one up the hill. It juiced back down. He tried again, back down. So now he's for 3. All the holes are par 2. He hits it up the hill, rolls back down off the course. Now he has to re-putt, and he hole-in-ones it for the 4.
He actually came so close. He's the only person I saw that almost ripped it off the course. Like he took a shot so hard that it caught a bump and it bounced off the rocks. And I don't even know how it stayed in play, but it did. But yeah, I can now tell you, like, I thought at the beginning of this that these odds were like, I'm reading these people's backgrounds. I'm looking at the history. They have 2 majors. They have the Masters and the US Open. I'm looking into this stuff like I'm the guy that's going to like find the edges. These odds were spot on. Whoever was making these odds.
Well, what juice? Minus
15 on both sides.
15-cent lines. Okay, not bad.
And I was really pining for this because I knew that they were going to all watch this afterwards, which they did. People from the league messaged me saying, like, you know, really good stream or whatever. I want a Pro-Am event, like where you pair with one of the professionals. I really want to pair with this Joey Graybell guy, because he's got the claw grip. Beautiful stroke. Like I want him to win the event tonight, but
we should do one where we all have to use the foot putter.
The foot putter
God.
is so hard.
Yeah, that's insane.
Like I definitely wouldn't make the cut with that. That's for sure.
Think about how hard it is to hit that on a direct straight. Like putter, you can practice that. It's very repetitive.
He just taps them, but it's like it's more the short yardage. The
happening.
short yardage. How is he doing that, man? Like,
Yeah.
I have a lot of questions about this altogether. Like, do they fly? Do people fly? Because the prize pool, the winner of this gets $5K.
I would almost rather use this hammer than the foot putter.
Should we do a tournament where we have to use sledgehammers as our putters?
Oh my God.
We could. If we do something for mini putt, I would be in.
As would I. I love mini putt.
And as long as there's no anti-gambling laws,
No.
I will also place some wagers on myself.
Yeah,
make-
Yeah, okay,
that
Pete Rose.
that
to
goes
make the
without
cut.
saying.
I'll
That
wager
goes-
on myself to make the
That
cut.
goes without saying that there would be some wagering on this event amongst ourselves. I don't know if we could get a licensed sportsbook operator to list this as well. Might have to approach some offshores.
I don't want to be considered it has to be a pro-am. I don't want to be deemed a pro athlete. Otherwise, I won't be able to wager on sports books.
But what kind of practice do you think goes into these things? Like, do people show up like a couple days before, play the course? They must.
You got to play the course once. Just how do they get those notebooks with the breaks and stuff?
That's what I'm saying. They must. I know there was practice sessions in the morning because they were tagging me on Twitter.
Yeah.
Ace Ventura's out on the course or whatever. I thought.
What about that guy? You didn't even say.
I thought he was going to be my guy that I was rooting for. I very quickly grew to dislike him.
Who?
Ace Ventura.
What's his actual name?
John Ventura. He's 71 years old. He's considered a very boomer bust player in that he's like the guy that likes to go for hole-in-ones no matter what, and he'll 3-putt a lot. But he likes to show it off a little bit, you know? But they do these pre-match interviews, and when he said that he called himself Ace Ventura and that Jim Carrey stole the name from him, but
That was when you.
that's
lost
not
his
how
touch.
you endear yourself to the watchers. So Ace Ventura, I think, is the heel of like
The WPL.
yeah. And I was asking people in the chat.
Ace Ventura.
You know what the funny thing is? Like all these people know each other. Not all these people. Take a step back here. Lots of people in the chat knew each other. They've played on these events with one another before. They know these people in real life. Oh, I know Greg Newport. He's a great guy. Tim Talley, good. Like one guy was like Ryan Reeves is underpriced, or Randy Reeves, underpriced. This guy's got, big chance. And they don't want to like talk shit about the other people, right? But as soon as I said, I get these vibes from like Ace Ventura that people don't like him, or like he's the bad boy of the league. The chat was like, not going to confirm or deny it, but you may be onto something or whatever. Like they didn't. There's like this friendship where like they know these people know one another, so they don't want to openly throw them under the bus. But it feels like Ace Ventura might not be the most liked guy.
I want to play this course and then just try and then just like I think I can make the cut. If I don't, it would be just equally as funny comedy.
So I agree.
By the way, for those listening at home, you want to add this to the list. Johnny said he would make the cut
at a World Putting League
at the
event.
World Putting League first try playing the course. Don't even need a backup. Don't even need a first round of the course.
So-
and I could build the F1 car.
I think we're gonna.
Just had to throw that in.
Here's what we're gonna do. I think some of the people that were involved in this tournament were invitees. They didn't like earn their way in or anything like that. I'm gonna see if we could get you and me as invitees, and we'll like
Let's get Zach too.
Yeah, well, we should. I don't know how hard or easy this is, but all I know is that I'm obsessed. I have an addictive personality, okay? I find something I like, I become obsessed with it. I've been playing Marvel Snap on my phone for the past 3 weeks like it's going to go away tomorrow.
Because I don't
Because
even know what that is.
yeah, you don't find out. It's just a very addictive game. That's who I am. I've watched now one round of this. I'm all in. This is like I can't explain it, but there's something that's drawing me to this. Like I need it in my life. I need a tournament every day, even if I just throw it on in the background, like on a side screen of my computer.
Just something to bet on.
And
let's get some betting odds in Canada so I could fire some darts.
Yeah.
I really wanted, Rob, when I was watching it yesterday, I really wanted us to be able to go to the next one. Hopefully we can get that in the works. Because one thing that I was obsessed with that I wanted was the sideline reporter. I wanted to be the sideline reporter. They were literally cutting to a sideline reporter, and they were like going up and interviewing people. And I was just thinking about like how funny it would be if we had that ability.
So I don't want to make this derogatory or anything like that, but my
Maybe don't do that.
No. My expectations of this were blown away. Like I didn't know I have no idea what I'm getting into here at first. I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'm all for new content. So like I like to do things that are outside the box, haven't really been done before. I'm a huge fan of live watch-alongs because I'm going to watch a lot of events anyways. Might as well do it and open up like a community element of it, right? But I'm looking at the website. I'm like, Brian Katrick. Like this guy's a PGA commentator. They got him. I'm like, okay, interesting or whatever. The commentary added so much to the broadcast. Plus they had cameras on every single hole. Like I didn't know that the quality of the stream was going to be as good as it was. And it helped. Again.
Well, it's gone now for everyone who's listening to this, but I'm sure Rob will do another one in the future, and maybe you might see me in the second round.
Like they've uploaded the day one results to the website in a spreadsheet format. So like you literally you can see all the graded lines from the beginning. I'm not exaggerating. Like every odd that was posted, what everyone did, the overs, the unders, what
Oh, they actually posted the over-unders to the website?
Yeah.
And gradings.
Yes.
We should get WPL up on betstamp.
hole in ones.
Dude.
I'll get it up if someone posts odds in Canada. We'll put it up.
Anyways, I'm very addicted, and I'm all in on this now. So
We got to get on Trendhill to get this up. And
we will.
once Pinnacle
Matt
grabs it-
Trenhale at Pinnacle is going to get an email from me saying, Trenhale,
This is your bread and butter. This is the growth area.
growth
sport.
markets.
This is the smallest of the small. Like, let's load this thing.
You got it, but if he's gonna put it, you have to guarantee him a certain handle just to make it worth his time to post it.
I personally, if you give me
You gonna
limits,
bet 5 figures on this?
well, if Pinnacle gives like $500 limits on this, I'll probably smash 20 bets on this.
Okay.
What do you
Fair
think
enough.
limits are on this on Kanishi PPH?
I don't. Kanish,
We don't advocate for that.
yes, yeah, we can't. We're not talking about that world right now. But this is right up Kanish's alley too.
Yeah,
like he's gonna find this soon, and he's gonna be into it. Like his favorite event of the year is the hot dog competition and all like the props that are associated with that. Wait till he finds these golfers.
And there's more. There's more where that comes from. And if you want to see more of this, go over to the Hammer HQ YouTube channel where you can see all these watch-alongs with Rob, myself, Jacob Grimenia, Alex Moretto, and other creators over at the Hammer Betting Network. So make sure to go over there, hit subscribe, like the videos that come out. Helps us a lot.
Do you think that these niche sports could actually grow into something because of betting?
Yeah, but it has to be actually better for betting. Like this,
It has to be widely available
I
lines.
tuned in.
Yeah.
I tried to watch or listen to the whole thing just to support the boys also. It was tough to watch without a bet on my end.
Yep.
Not going to lie. I really wanted to actually bet. I was going to fade Varnador to the moon after I saw his putting stroke.
If there were, that's what I'm
I
saying.
would have made a
live
lot of
odds
money
on this.
I actually would have made a lot of money live betting this because I'm like, oh, I would have faded the shoe putter and Varnador.
Yeah.
But
the shoe putter had a high total going in already.
I know, but yeah, he was
Like he
there.
didn't
He would've broke
underperform all that
even.
much. Varnador underperformed his numbers by a lot.
As soon as I saw that guy stroke, and I was like, oh, he's got a weird stroke. Like he must be good though. You know what I mean? He must be like a good odd guy.
Yes.
And then he just he did not perform. So I was actually like go look. People, I was like,
just check it. You can watch this in post, and you can still have fun with it, because it's like. But there was one guy that his hands were coming he was drawing the ball
like an iron.
Yeah, it was like hitting the putt. Like
Here's what we need, because we might be able to influence this. Seriously, you might be able to influence this. What we need is an easy way to actually bet on this and follow bets. That's what I want. Like some sort of on the broadcast, show the leaderboard, update that, just so you can actually see. And then if there's bets potentially that you're sweating on there that people could tail, make sure you're always cutting to those.
Yeah.
Make it literally like Varnador to get a 2 on hole, and then you're actually sweating that. It will actually be a great, it'll be great.
Like I think there's lots of stuff you could, obviously this is in its infancy. This is like the first broadcast.
Easiest way to bet
hole
it,
by hole.
Hole by hole. Because that, like, total scores and stuff is cool for a sweat at the end, but really the way I would actually bet this is hole by hole scores. Like there should be odds on guy to get a hole in one.
Yep.
1 through 18. Hole in one, yes, no's.
Yes.
Or just even honestly, just yeses is fine.
So I personally thought that the most entertaining market was the total hole in ones on a specific hole. So like hole 1 was set at 25.5 hole in ones. Hole 4 was 1.5 because it was a hard one or whatever. But I found that to be really interesting because I think you can have a scenario where people are just fixated on a specific hole.
It's not as easy. It's hard to actually follow unless you do like a graphic and post. That's like
or have like a live 24/7
live totals.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
But seriously though, like this would be sweet. So if you're DGen betting table tennis, okay, you don't want to bet this guy to win the finals of the tournament where you have to watch it all day. You just want a quick sweat. The funnest bets to bet is like guy to win the 7th point of the match. This guy at like -120. And then you might have like 7th point this guy, 8th point this guy, 9th and 10th the other guy. Mm-hmm. And then you're literally watching the match. You're like, here we go. We're up. This is it. 7th point. Serves it into the net. You're like, let's go.
Yeah.
Cash. That's like the level I think that it would take. Because like if you are betting on this, it's pure DGen bet.
Yeah.
Like you're
No. I thought like I was handicapping this, but in hindsight, it was just like I'm an idiot first. Like I'll let the viewership know I'm a complete moron. So I see all these odds of like hole 1, 25.5 over under, hole 4, 1.5. So what do? I
look
pull
up hole 4 and 1.
I pull up a YouTube video of a guy who hits an ace on every single hole at this course and records it. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like hole in 1, it's a straight putt. It's down a hill. You just got to give it a little tap, and if you hit it straight, it's going in. Oh,
tap, tap-a-roo.
These putters got to be good enough to do that. I hit that, that goes over. But hole 4, I watched the video on YouTube. I'm like, how is this only set at 1.5? This is like they're gonna have it's gonna go way over this amount on this hole. Well, I mean, the course changed from 2019 to 2023. They changed the carpet, they changed the turf, and it slowed down the roll of the ball towards the hole, so actually making it more difficult. So I ended up being like the big square, thinking that I had like this mat.
You only make those mistakes once, though.
It's true. Now I know. One of the other holes, they removed a rock. That would have made it a lot harder for it to happen. But I could see it picking up steam. I think there's like enough from a betting perspective. Like, I don't know that the league can survive long term. What I'm getting at is like, I don't know that these niche leagues can survive long term without betting. I'm really into the XFL right now. Why am I into the XFL? Because I can bet it, and it's like somewhat entertaining to throw. But am I going to watch the XFL if I'm getting no dollars down on a game?
No, probably
like I'm not. So I think this is like these leagues can embrace this type of stuff. Like, there's a lot of stuff like this out there.
You know what they should actually do? I thought of it. This is what it is. You go per golfer, you book 18 holes, and you're able to just click on the golfer, and then you have like hole 1, you can either bet hole in 1, it's a 3-way line. Hole in 1, exactly 2,
or 3+.
3+. That's the way to do it.
That's assuming all these courses are par 2 on every hole, though. I don't know what other courses they play.
If not, you still do it like that, and then you just make it.
You just adjust the odds.
Just juice it out.
Yeah.
Honestly, that would actually be the shit. Because then you can legit like take a hold. Be my guest. Just make it in a way where like someone could watch that hole, and like while they're watching the guy that's on screen, they're like, "This is it.
Yes,
this is it. Like here you go." And then you're like, if you have him exact 2. And you just missed the hole in one, but he's right there. You're like, let's go tap it in. Or he might hit a bad tee shot. Like, let's go. Need a miss here.
it is a logistical nightmare, but it can be done.
What would be the logistical nightmare?
Just like
Actually booking it all? Like actually writing it all down?
or like it actually happens so quick, right? Like the golfer. So the way that this event works, which I've now learned, is it's alternating. You alternate who starts each hole, no matter what. So theoretically, you basically have a guy going back to back or a woman going back to back. On hole 1, if you go first and I'm second, on hole 2, I go first and you're second. So as soon as I hold my ball, I immediately go to the next hole and I'm basically starting within 15 seconds. Like it's instant. You know what I'm saying?
Do they know who's going to be on the holes? Like who's going to be on the broadcast, or they just play it by ear?
No, they know. The whole broadcast is, so it's like.
Do they know what holes, what golfers are going to be on TV prior?
They have a camera at every single hole.
So what they should do is
so there's literally a truck, like another sporting event, where they're just going to certain things.
Okay, so here's what I'm thinking then. They have a feed where they know all of the golfers that are going to show up, like every whole golfer combo, and they only offer bets on those ones.
Yeah.
That way you're guaranteed that if you placed a bet on any of those bets, it's guaranteed to be on the broadcast.
I agree. They should. This is no different than like the PGA Tour where they stack the pairings. So
I'd fire some hole in one.
So one of the pairings I think yesterday was Olivia Prokopova and Joey Graybell. I think those are like 2 of the best 4 golfers, and they stack the pairing. So just having live odds on like one pairing and a camera that's always following them around is enough in and of itself to start. Because you obviously have to grow at a certain pace, right? You can't just do everything at once.
Absolutely.
But it's,
anyways, enough about the WPL.
I love these niche.
Tune in. Maybe we'll set something up. What else we got going on? Trade deadlines. Any edges to be had?
Well, yes and no. I mean, the problem is that people like to attack these future markets as soon as a trade happens, right? Oh, this person got traded. I'm going to go bet them. Ryan O'Reilly gets traded.
You're hammering the Rangers right now?
No.
First Patrick Kane news?
Well, Patrick Kane doesn't move the needle as much anymore as he used to. He's been a bad player this year. That's not to say he'd be a bad player at the Rangers going forwards, but he's been a below average player. But the edge is like
not enough to overcome the VIG.
Of course not. Like it's you trade a good player gets traded to another team, it increases their Stanley Cup win probability by 0.5%. Like it doesn't move the needle enough. The biggest things in hockey that can move the exactly, and that's just like so you have that, and then on top of that, what you get like this effect where okay, now you're going to go bet that team, but what's going to happen is every other team is going to now make a trade as well. So when it's all said and done, the odds on your team that you bet, you thought you got a great price, it just goes back up anyways because somebody else in the market makes a deal to counter yours. And that's what's happening.
Like definitely though, if you're like, hey, I'm betting the Suns because Kevin Durant went there, like, you know, that's a no-brainer bet. Like that's moving it more than enough to make up for the VIG. But typically, 19 out of 20 trades are not going to do anything.
Yeah, for the most part. So right now, the biggest impact from the trade deadline in hockey is the day-to-day betting in terms of
this guy's now out for this team.
Or like, I'm not going to bet this team this morning because they might sit 3 of their players for trade-related reasons, right? So your timing of your bets are completely different now. If I want to bet a team that's out of the playoffs, I'm not going to do it until game time, basically now. Because why would I do it in the morning where the market is pricing them like playing their full team? Then they just say, well, we're not playing this player.
Very, very tough.
Yeah, so it changes the day-to-day logistics of how you might bet on the sport itself. And there's edges to be had there, for sure. because there's a lot more news this time of year as well. This team is sitting X, Y, and Z out of the lineup for trade-related reasons, right? Okay.
And even if he doesn't get traded, he still sits that game.
Yeah.
Likely.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So that's where the biggest implication of these trades are. The rest is it's just content. Like, people love to talk about this stuff, right? And I mean, I do. I get excited when the Leafs make a big trade.
We've had some great chats about the differences in the values and like how us two would be as GMs in the league and like valuing different things. I think most people might agree with, but for the most part, Rob and I, like, we don't value the draft picks nearly as much as I think the NHL teams do, and for the most part, other sports as well.
I think that changed this year a little bit, though, the valuation of the draft picks for the top teams.
But
this year we saw a shift.
I've been thinking about it like this for like 10 years now. Like, I've always said in the NHL, like, I'm not as into it in the more recent years as I used to be like a mega fan. Like, I knew every player, every team, every line combo, bet it every day. Now it's like I don't care about that stuff as much. I just more follow the Maple Leafs.
Yep.
But I've always said this, like, the actual value of a first round pick in the NHL is very much tied to where that pick is in the round. And when you look at the NBA, like, the NBA does it where if that's an unprotected top 10 pick, teams like will almost not trade that pick. And if the pick is a late first rounder, they'll trade 7 years in a row. Like, they don't care. And it took the NHL, I think, a while to adjust for that. It's coming into play a little more now, but still, like, a 25th overall in the NHL, I don't think has a significantly higher success rate than like a 36 overall.
Agreed 100%. So that's one of the inherent challenges. The average fan doesn't realize in every sport what a specific draft pick is actually worth. Fans get up in arms when they hear that their team traded away a first-round pick. Like, oh, you're sacrificing the future, you're mortgaging the future. Well, there's a lot of things that come into play. How's your prospect pool right now? How good are your top-end prospects? What's the likelihood of a hit rate on that specific pick? And it's like, it's tiresome to hear it, but I get it. The thing for me is, like, you don't want to be in that middle ground in sports, right? Ever. And this is what every fan base wants to win, right? For the most part. They're always like, oh, how is our team not making a trade? How are we not doing this to counter this and that, and so on and so forth. But if you're good enough to contend for the title and, like, it's your time, you have a short window, go for it.
100%.
100%. If you are not, don't go for it and try to get assets in the future. Like, the middle space is the worst that if you continuously just make the playoffs and lose in the first round,
or even miss the playoffs, but get
barely,
the 14th overall pick, that's even worse.
You have to pick one extreme or the other. You have to, in my opinion. There's no sense in being in that middle tier ever. So I just don't understand. We get this around NBA trade deadline, NHL, every sport, it happens where there's like, and I think a lot of it is the pressure, as dumb as it sounds, the pressure that the fan bases put on the front office. Because I think it actually matters. And there's front offices that cave to the pressure. It's like, oh, if we don't make a deal this year, like, there's going to be an uproar. People are going to be out with the pitchforks. But most fan bases, and this is going to sound very arrogant, I don't really care, most fan bases are dumb relative to the intelligence of the people that are running the organization.
Hey, seriously, probably, but a lot of the front offices are not too smart in today's day. It's not even about the strategy. Sorry to cut you off. I don't think it's they're dumb in terms of, like, the decision making. I think it's the overall strategy. They're factoring in other things that's not just winning.
Yep.
Which maybe that's right in terms of a front office, but for the average fan, think of it this way: if there's 32 teams in the NFL, in the NHL, 32 teams means if you win the cup 1 in every 32 years, you're right on pace.
Yep.
That is the expected cups for the 32 years. If you win a cup every 20 years, you're laughing. Your franchise should be more valuable, if more fan base, whatever. The best part about it is when your team is good and you have multiple years in a row where you have a team that your fan base thinks can win the cup, that's the sweet spot. And then you hopefully hit one, and then the next year you get another finals run, next year that you win another cup. That's the home run. and then you just go rebuild. So what I'm thinking that I think a lot of fans agree with, and then some just don't see, is when your team is in a spot that it could win the cup. Look at the betting odds. If you're plus 1,000 or more favored to win the Stanley Cup, 10-1 odds, go all in. Go all in. Trade your picks. Definitely trade your first rounder for this year. Definitely take on rental players. Make your team better. Go for a shot to win. Okay, you lost. Now you don't have a first rounder. What's the average first rounder pick 24 to 32?
I know. It's a very low success
hit rate. And even if it is a success, are they playing next year? No. Are they playing the year after? No.
And what do you consider a success? Because a lot of those players just turn out to be like a career third line player, which
that you could sign.
Exactly. And listen, I'm not suggesting that there aren't teams that don't know what they're doing or have poor front offices. Like, you obviously see stuff like that all the time, and fans are entitled to their opinions. But another thing with these sports is that teams have access to metrics that are not publicly available either, especially in hockey. Like, the teams have access to data that the average fan does not. So if they see something in a player where they want to acquire him, it's like, oh, this person's not this, or this person actually makes them worse. It's like, no, they don't. Like, I have a very, very hard time believing that they've acquired this player and it's going to make them worse.
Yeah, but sometimes, though, you'll look at a team's thing and you're like, this player, it just doesn't fit what they're trying to do right now. And, like, how do they just acquire a player right now when they should be? Like, for example, another hometown team I follow, the Raptors. Like, they acquired back Jakob Poeltl. They're not in the playoffs. Like, They shouldn't be acquiring players right now and trading assets. I get it, though. Messiah originally drafted him. GM originally drafted him, probably liked him, sees a lot in him, seen him develop, traded him for Kawhi Leonard originally. He's like, I want to get this guy back. Reasonable price. Let me just take him back.
Yeah.
But, like, you should have been selling players
I
and
agree.
then tank for the one overall. That way you don't end up in no man's land, which inevitably the Raptors will almost 100% end up in no man's land, where they probably either miss the playoffs altogether or get eliminated in that tournament or eliminated in the first round. Those are the three options. You don't get the first overall potential prodigy.
Yep.
You don't have a chance. I don't know. NHL. Well, NHL is different though, man. Name a guy, and this is maybe you guys will prove me wrong, so you guys follow more. Name a really, really good NHL player, best player in the league, prodigy player that didn't go first or second overall.
I can't off the top of my head. There's definitely some. Like,
who though?
Like Pavel Datsyuk went in like
no. That
Cale Makar.
Back in the day. Yeah. So okay, fine. I'll say top 5 because you're gonna say Makar. Okay. I don't even consider Makar to be like
he's the best D man.
Sure, but what I'm saying is name a guy: McDavid, Ovi, Crosby, McKinnon, Stamkos, Matthews.
Yeah. Well, I could throw out some names, but I get what you're saying.
But that's something. Like, throw out a guy that's
like
actually
Kucherov or Point. Vasilevsky's
so maybe
hard because goalie.
Maybe no goalies. Maybe Kucherov would be the guy who's like, okay, when did he go in the draft?
I can pull it up, but
I know Matthew Tkachuk went outside the top 5, and I would.
Did he even go outside top 5?
Yeah,
I think he went 5th,
maybe 5th,
6th, maybe 5th.
Yeah, no, your point is
the guy that's outside the top 5.
It's an exception. I completely agree with you.
In the NBA,
Kucherov second round, 58th overall.
So Kuch would maybe be one example, but in the NBA, even the NBA, which is more top heavy, I do think some guys that are top guys end up going like 14th. You'll get a guy like Giannis, you'll get a guy like Jokic, you'll get a couple of guys that are like, okay, fine, give me that player in the middle of the first round. In the NHL,
it's very few.
Lower hit rate, man. They're much better at drafting. It takes longer to develop.
But people hold on to those examples, is what I'm saying. So like David Pastrnak went 25th to the Bruins. Okay.
But is Pastrnak McDavid, McKinnon, Matthews player?
He's like a 1B. So he's definitely
so Giannis and Jokic are literally best players in the league.
Agreed. But people will hold on to that one example. Like, it's not a probabilistic thing anymore, right? That's the issue with sports. It's the arguments I get into on Twitter where I just choose to mute the conversation and move on because you're never going to change someone. Oh, but this team drafted this person 25th overall. It's like, okay, but that happens 0.2% of the time that they're going to turn into an elite player.
But they're not even the best players in the league.
They're not superstars.
My argument is like those guys aren't even the actual superstars. If you go outside the top 5, it's tough to be an actual superstar in the NHL.
Matthew Tkachuk, 6th overall.
So sixth.
Yeah.
But
There you go. Rough. I'm like, obviously, yeah, there's going to be exceptions for everything, and 6th overall.
But there was
fine.
also some like big mistakes made in that one. When you look ahead at some of those teams, it's not like the guys there like rock stars ahead of them, right? That was the Matthews year. So it was Matthews, Laine, Pierre-Luc Dubois, Puljujarvi, who was traded today as well, Ewa Levy, and then Tkachuk.
Yeah, for sure. I was at that draft in Buffalo.
Oh, yeah. You met AM34.
I went there live.
My buddy was drafted in that draft. I've told Johnny this,
Who?
but John Ang. But he was in the washroom when he got drafted.
No way.
Yeah.
When I was at
dude
that
had to go,
draft,
man.
It was in Buffalo. I went to the washroom, the regular washroom, not like it was in the regular fan washroom. Walked in, urinal. I'm there. Guess who comes up right urinal beside me? Terry Pagula, the owner of the Sabres and the Bills, billionaire, owner of the
Man
team.
of the people, man.
He was right there. I recognized him right away. I looked at him, said, "Hey," and he's like, "Hey, how are you?" And then he's like, "You a Sabres fan?" I said, "Nah, Leafs." He said, "It's okay." And then he was just in the regular washroom.
Did you look down out of the corner of your eye?
I think it had the things, dividers.
Just wondering.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I'm not that guy.
Not that guy.
You would have looked.
It depends. It depends.
It
Depends
is
how many beers I've consumed, what the urinals are like. By the way, complete tangent here. Whoever invented the urinals that go all the way down to the floor, send that person to the sun.
Why?
Because it's so...
Bro, if you don't know how to use those, you don't
No.
deserve to use the
Okay,
urinal.
first and foremost, you have to stand like a fucking penguin there with like your feet like this because the urinal's there. It's not a natural standing position, and you have to worry about splashing your shoes with piss, which I never want to do.
No, you stream it down the side. It goes.
No, I will refuse to accept this. Those are low quality, garbage, trash urinals.
Fair enough.
They're the dumbest. They definitely cost more because they're larger. They don't provide more. And there's like piss all over the floor after. This is wet floors.
Would you put a urinal in your own home?
I knew a guy that did.
And it was worth it?
But why? Why would you do that?
Why not?
Why?
Easier.
But then you still need a toilet.
Yeah, but both.
You don't have to lift up a toilet seat. That's the laziness
Just
factor.
put both. Yeah, what's the harm?
The harm is like the space that it takes up in the wash.
If you have a big bathroom, would you do it? Dream home.
Then you
Custom home.
have to change the fucking
the cake.
the urinal cake, right? Like, who's gonna do that? You want to do that?
You got to change it. Same way you got to clean your regular toilet and washroom and shower.
Sure. I don't do that myself, but yes. Yeah.
Who does it?
I have
There you go.
I have cleaning ladies that do that. They're very nice.
Fair enough. We've gone off the rails.
I just don't really like those urinals. They really bother me. Every single time I go to one of those, you look at the floor, it's all wet because like it's just bad. It's not good for business.
There you did have a man of the people, billionaire, using the regular washroom.
I actually
with
really
the
respect
fans.
that though. He's a man of the people. I like that.
100% respect.
Because there's some people that would not do that. You make that much money, there's no chance they would ever. They probably have their own private washroom in the facility.
I don't know why they're bringing. I was in the washroom. I was at the Leaf game last week. I was in the washroom, and these two kids were like 20 and 19 years old. They were just like washing their hands. I was washing my hands right beside the guy, and he's like talking to his buddy, and he's like, do we have enough guys for tonight then? Like, should I message? Like, I'm going to message the football chat. And then he's like, yeah, message. We have five people confirmed. Let's try to get to 8. And then he's like, okay. Poker at 11 then. I'm going to message in poker at 11. And this was like second intermission, meaning it's probably around 9:00.
Yep.
And these guys are 2 hours out, still at the game, and they're planning a poker game for 11. Mm-hmm. And they said he was going to message the football chat. And I almost near shed a tear while washing my hands in that washroom because
You don't have to pretend you were washing your hands. It's okay.
Because that is, I actually almost shed a tear. That was me. That was what we used to be able to do. And life just goes at you so fast and it's done now, man. Like imagine being able to set up a poker game and get 8 guys an hour and a half to 2 hours later, after you're messaging in the chat, who's in for poker? They're 20 years old and they just go and meet up and no one has a care in the world. They don't have anything. They stay up, drink beers, whatever.
Yeah.
And play poker.
I will say to you this, it can always get worse. Like, wait till you're married, man. Or like,
I know it can get
I'm
worse.
getting
Like
texts,
eventually there's the
is the
people
game
have
over
kids and
yet?
stuff.
When are you going to be home and this and that? And I'm like, like I just want to get messed up tonight. Like,
I stopped him. True story. I stopped him. I said,
do you have any accounts?
No. I stopped him. I said, hey, I said, listen, guys, I'm not that much older than you, but I just want to say, like, what you guys are doing right now, setting up a poker game. I was like, that was me. That's what we all used to do. And like, it goes fast. You guys have such a good time ahead of you, but like, enjoy it now while you can. Like, it goes away.
Whatever, old man.
And
I was gonna say, like, they're probably playing poker later on that night, and they're like, "You guys remember when that guy just randomly came up to us in the washroom?" And
no, he's just like, "Thank you, sir." I'm like, "Okay,
thank you, sir." Yep.
Yeah, he's like, "Thank you, sir." Like, we will. But no, nice kids for sure. It got me thinking. It was like I legit almost shed a tear. I'm not even kidding, because to think that, and this is now even. We're talking about the Maple Leafs and stuff. Like, I used to never miss a game.
Yeah.
Me and my buddies used to just be like, oh, come over for the Leaf game. What are we doing for the Leaf game? We're going here. We're going for wings. Come over my parents' basement so we can watch when we're 17 years old. One guy has a car. Oh, I'll pick everyone up. We'll go to this guy's parents' basement to watch the game. Like, that was just such a fun time that will never be had again. And I get it. Right now, we're in a different time that I'm also going to look back on and say, wow, remember when I did that? So I'm not taking it for granted, but anyone who's listening that's younger, you could still do that stuff. Imagine getting a poker game together 2 weeks in advance.
It's impossible with my friends now. There's always going to be someone who's missing. Like,
there's always going to be someone who has to leave because the kid babysitter, and then another guy who has to leave because he has something in the morning, and then he's like, I can't drink. And then the guy's no one wants to drink anymore, and just... What do you think, Zach?
I'll bring you around, Johnny. I've been playing some poker lately. We've been having a good time. Day before, get things going. If someone mentions it, day before, maybe we'll get poker going tomorrow.
How many guys do you normally get?
Like 9, 10.
Oh,
dude,
that's
the
dream games.
We got this guy that
That's
we play
dream.
with. He's got 2 decks on the go at all times. He's
got the table with the thing.
No, he
auto
doesn't.
shuffle.
He said he was going to get it, but hadn't quite got into that yet. But two decks on the go. He's got a timer that like ups the blinds at the timers. Like,
so you guys are doing tournaments.
Is this guy all-time dealer?
He's all-time dealer, but
and you just pay him a rake? No, you can't.
No. He plays. He plays.
Oh, he plays. He's not all-time dealer.
We always had
But
one
he's-
guy that did that for us as well. He just knew it was his job. If he's at the game, he's faster than everyone.
Sorry. So he plays, but he just deals as well.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay, I thought you meant like all-time dealer. He doesn't play. He just
no.
sets up the game, deals it out.
Yeah, I answered that incorrectly.
That guy must really
just
like you
knows.
guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just wants to be around everyone.
Yeah.
If
So I've been doing that lately.
What are you trying to get? That card shuffle machine?
He wants the one built into the table.
Yeah, that's the dream one.
Yeah.
You just press the button, it opens up.
that-
You take a
that
freshly
one,
shuffled
that one.
cards. You
Yeah.
put the other ones back
Put
in.
the cut card.
But you just rip through. You can do. We have like a separate timer for buybacks, so you can buy back in until the timer runs out,
Yeah.
and then you're done. And like the games just fly by, but it's like it's good because everyone's engaged. Like you have to be
That's
playing.
nice.
So yeah, it's been fun.
I miss the poker days.
No, it's not even about the poker days or anything like that. It's just more like the fucking days are going by.
I know.
They go by and you forget that you had a time when no one gave a shit about anything.
It's like you're delivering a eulogy right now, basically.
Bro, no one gave a shit about anything. You literally
I know
could go,
things change
get
in life.
hammered,
You get older.
wake up in the morning, no hangover,
Yeah.
nothing. You rip McDonald's breakfast every day,
yeah.
McDonald's lunch, whatever. No one gets fat. It just happens.
Johnny, there's a point in my life, probably for 2 years, where I used to wake up and eat dinner with my family. That was actually my life. Living in my parents' basement, come home 6, 7 in the morning. My parents would like sit me down, have a speech like, what's going on? They think I'm like up to no good, right? Like, oh, what are you doing drugs? I'm like, no, I'm just like, we're playing poker. We're watching, I can't even remember, like, just do stupid shit when you're young.
Yeah.
Like you play video games at someone's house. You're like, holy shit, it's 6 a.m.
Yeah.
And you go home and then you just sleep and you wake up at 5 o'clock and you're like,
I had a buddy from my high school. We used to play hockey league, like NHL, basically not ultimate team, but it was like be a pro. You each get one guy.
SHL.
Yeah, so you each get one guy, and then you just play with that one player, and then you're all on the same team. You go on the headsets and stuff like that. This is in like 10th grade, grade 10. And then this guy used to play all night, where like obviously lived with his parents. He used to play in the basement, and then the second he would hear his mom come like down the stairs after waking up, like 7 a.m., he would quickly shut off the TV, pretend he fell asleep on the couch. His mom would wake him up, and then he'd be like, "Oh yeah, sorry, I fell asleep on the couch." She'd be like, "It's time for school." And he'd say, "Go to school, no sleep, rip a chocolate milk and a cookie."
My dad watches this on a weekly basis, but it's the same stories for me. He'd be getting up and going to work. I'm playing Call of Duty like downstairs. He'd come downstairs and be like, "What's going on?" Or I'm like, couldn't sleep. I woke up like an hour ago, started playing. Meanwhile, I've been up all night. Like like he knows he's not an idiot or whatever. But
what Call of Duty did you play?
Call of Duty 4, 3 and 4.
Oh, 3 and 4
were the big ones for me. Yeah. Call of Duty 3 online with my friends. We used to play the Rouen map in France. It was a banger. Call of Duty 4. And then I had to just get rid of video game systems for a while because it's too overwhelming.
I quit in I played grade 10. I played video games every day. It's all I did. And then I learned about sports betting, and then I quit video games.
Yep. New addiction. Right?
Literally, like
I'm like you. I'm the same way.
Maybe I played video games like a fiend. I had 10 days in play time on Modern Warfare 2, which was, by the way, nothing compared to some people I know. People are like 100 days of in play time, which for those who don't know what that means, it's like they log all of the hours you spent actually playing the game. So not just like in the waiting lobby, not like moving your settings, setting up your stuff. How many hours were you actually in there? And they had like 100 days. So like 2,400 hours.
Well, this week I will putt for a minimum of 21 hours.
Where?
Anywhere I can putt. I'll have a jar in the basement. I'll have like targets.
We went to the simulator.
I know.
It was actually pretty good.
I went to simulator this week, and now my arm is killing me again, man. It's just depressing.
But they don't have all the courses.
That's the thing.
They have a lot, but they have like not that many good ones.
So it depends on what you're looking for. Like I would still rather play at a good sim, that's more realistic, more accurate, different lies,
hit off the sand.
Exactly. Than to go to a shitty sim that has all the courses. But sometimes it is nice to go to the one that has all the courses. Just play a random one.
No, fair enough. Yeah, no, they have a lot of courses, but not that many good courses.
Yeah. You can really tell when you play the sim when like you ripped a good shot and it's the ones where you ripped a good shot and you're like no this ain't right.
That doesn't happen.
Yeah, that's not.
No, that actually doesn't happen. Every time I hit a bad shot, I say this thing's not accurate, but it actually is accurate. All right, let's close it off. I don't think we touched on any gambling this episode.
Well, it is what it is. We got into a lot of topics, but if you do enjoy the content that we do here on Circles Off, make sure you like today's episode, subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you're listening in audio form, rate and review 5 stars. We'll be back next week with episode number 92, Circles Off.
Suggest any guests in the comments. See ya.